right? We do classes online. Snow is of no consequence. Who just showed up? Jose Lewis is here, and Jocelyn is here. Is that it? It's 12:55. It's time to go. Angel. All right, let's get started. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you had a good weekend. Okay, restful. Got something fun and interesting accomplished in addition to preparing for and studying your math problem solving. Okay, as mentioned Friday, right? We are working on the review now today because tomorrow is your test. Right? So here's how this is going to work. You should have already started the review. You should have looked at it. You should have at least read through all of the problems and asked your brain, hey brain, how's this problem look? And like give it a rating, like, oh yeah, that one's easy. Okay, don't worry about that one. Or, oh no, that one's tough. Let's think about that one. Right? And like rate them easy, medium, and hard. Okay? And the hard ones you start over the weekend until you find the point where you get stuck so that you can come into class today and you can ask Mr. Apple, hey, Mr. Apple, I was looking at problem number 3 and I really didn't know how to tackle that because I ran into this issue with this thing not equaling to that thing. What do I do with this? Right? And then I can say, that's a wonderful question. Let's look into it. And then we can dive in and we can work through that problem together. Right? If you haven't done that, then all these problems are fresh and you have a lot of work to do. Okay, so let's take a look at that chapter review. Okay, you have the vocabulary, very important. Okay, the vocabulary will be, there's some explicit questions on the test that deal with the vocabulary and these concepts. Notice a lot of these concept questions are like, what's the difference between exercise and problem? What's the 4-step problem-solving method? Conditions where this strategy would be useful. So all those clues that tell you when to use a particular strategy, those are going to be questions on the test. In fact, I'll let you know a little secret. A lot of the test questions will look remarkably like the quizzes questions that you've done past couple of weeks. So there's another tool for you to study tonight. Go back to the quizzes that you already took. This is why I have you log in, so it's saved in your profile. You can go to your quiz history and pull those up and redo those, study with those. I think there's like a flashcard mode you can use as well. So that'll be really useful. And then in addition, there will be 2 actual problems that you will need to solve for the test. So of course you need to practice that skill with the problems for the review, and they have questions from both sections 1 and 2 here. Inductive and deductive reasoning. Remember that from semester 1? It's back. There's a question there on the test about that. Again, the clues for the 3 other strategies here, and then a few other problems for you to practice with. So that's what it looks like. Today, you are going to spend class time working on this. Ask me any question from the review you like. I will work through it. You can see we did question 3 here in 4th period, the prior one. The wonderful thing about the classes being recorded to YouTube is I don't have to do this question all over again from scratch. You can go back to 4th period's video and watch the process there. Fair warning, if you are doing that, it comes in 2 parts. So the first part I did here with the red and the blue, I did it wrong. I missed a part. Okay, I had to screw it up, so I go back. So make sure you watch all the way to the end or scrub through, right? Skip a bit till you find where I come back and fix it, because I screwed up there and I had to adjust things. But if you want to compare your answers, the correct answer is in fact 8 inches on question 3 for the first section. So that being said, what questions do you guys have? What would you like me to go over today? Nothing? You're golden, you're set? There's nothing you want to know? Not even about the test. Usually somebody asks very specifically about the test. What's the test like? Okay, well, since nobody asked, I will tell you anyways. The test is going to be on quizzes, so it is a quest, or at least most of it is. The concept vocab questions, so there will be multiple choice and short answer on the quizzes format. And so that section of the test will go live tomorrow. You will take it. You can retake it because it's a quiz, so you can retake it the rest of the week. But the problem-solving component, there will be 2 problems. Those will come as a separate part on a classroom post. So those, much like homework, you'll have to open up that document, solve the problems, do all of your work, and then upload your work, finished results with your very obvious final answer. So whatever you're scribbling and all this extra work and stuff, make sure you have, your final answer, a nice box. So it's very clear what your final answer is for each one. And then those you will upload separately from the quizzes. That way I can actually give you more points and partial credit for those ones. How many questions are there? Let's see, there's the 2 problems, and then how many questions did I put on this thing? Let me look. 20 questions, there you go. No more questions? No problems you want to see the solution to? You have to log into Zoom. So color day tomorrow, we'll need to log into Zoom since that won't be you guys. No, you do not have to connect to the Zoom tomorrow. So it'll be posted much like a homework assignment. Open it up. So I'm not enforcing a time limit on it, but again, it's only 20, the multiple choice short answer questions. It shouldn't take you that long. Be reasonable with it. The ideal would be you can join in at the scheduled class time and take it then. But as your schedule allows, I'm leaving it flexible so you can take it at any time of day, but there's no need to spend more than an hour on it, especially because you can just redo it. Okay. How to do number 1? From the first section, this one with the block. Yes, okay. Yeah, this is a fun one. I like this. This is a test of your visual spatial reasoning skills. You need to be able to look at these pictures and imagine them as the different sides of a cube, and then take that cube in your mind, pick it up and rotate it and spin it around, and be like, okay, if I were to turn it to this side, what would it look like? If I turn it to this side, what does it look like? If you struggle with that, I suggest you make a prop. And I anticipated somebody asking this question because I made one here. So I simply drew and cut out that T shape they have there at the bottom where you fill in your answers. And then I started drawing in shapes. Take a look at the first picture. Right, it shows something like that. I don't know how well that's coming through. I should have used a darker marker there. Right, but you got the stripy bar there and then the L shape above it. And so I know those have to go one adjacent to the other. Right? And so I just sort of fill in, all right, what else do I know is next to the stripy bar? Well, look at that last picture has stripy bar and the crescent moon. And so from the stripy bar, I know the crescent has to be next to it, but they got to be oriented so that I can turn it like this. And so the moon goes that way now. All right? And so this is how you can just fill in, right, this thing, just kind of fold it up into a cube so that you have a physical representation that you can pick up and manipulate and look at and be like, oh yeah, it goes that way, okay. And then unfold it to see where everything lines up and how it orients, right? It's not just good enough to have the arrow in this square, you need to be pointing in this direction. So that's how I would do that one. It's taking the draw a picture strategy up a notch and the make a prop strategy. Okay. Otherwise, I would say if you're not doing that, you're pretty much at guess and test, right? You can just try some things, be like, okay, well, what if I did stripy bar and the L? And then test things. Can I put the, arrow here? No, it needs to be next to the crescent moon. So if I put the crescent moon next to the arrow, well, the arrow doesn't point to the moon, so maybe I have to turn the arrow the other way. Right? Oh, but the moon is next to the stripy bar, and this would put it on the opposite side of the cube. So you can work your way using the guess and test method that way. Okay, but final answer is right here. Let me go full camera so you can see that. Okay, so L up top. And stripes, and then triangle pointing to the left. Crescent moon, open down, arrow pointing up, trapezoid pointing downward. All right, so come back to that video to check your work when you're done. There's the final answer for that. All right, any more? No, I'll give you some time to work. Just shout out or send a message on Zoom as soon as you have a question. Otherwise, I'm gonna be doing grades and stuff. Oh, there's a question. Number 2. All right. Let's have a look. Question 2 says, in how many different ways can the following 4x4 grid, 4x4, okay, be cut along the lines, oh, so we're doing, like, so you have to cut, you know, that way along the lines. You can't cut diagonally there. That's not allowed. Okay. Along the lines to attain 2 identical pieces. 2 identical pieces. Note, 2 cuts are the same if they look alike when the figure is rotated or flipped. Okay, so I've got a visual component here. I've got to cut these things. Again, if you have an actual piece of paper, maybe try it out. I'm going to try just drawing, so we're going to implement some drawings here. I'm at least going to like doodle on top of this, if not redraw the pieces they create. I might end up making a table to keep track. It says in how many ways. I don't know how many I'm going to get to, okay? If I get like past 6, I might want to start jotting them down, you know, so I don't accidentally duplicate them. But I'm basically going to like guess and test, I think, at this point, because I don't really have any other way forward other than to start drawing things and see maybe some type of pattern or some systematic way will emerge. I don't know. You know, it is something with the squares. Is there something, the fact that it's 4 squares, is there going to be 4 of them? Let's find out. So the obvious one, cut to get 2 identical pieces. Straight down the middle. Done, that's 1 cut. Okay. Maybe make a tally mark. And you could go the other way, right, horizontally would work as well, but that would still give you this rectangle, right, which they said if I can rotate or flip it to get the same thing, that counts as the same. So let's stick with the vertical plane there. What can we do differently? It has to go along the squares there. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, what if I went all the way down and then boop, bumped out like a square, right? We go down and then you bumped out a square. Well, then they wouldn't be identical. So what if we bumped out, think like from the middle. We go down and bump out a square there. Would that give me the identical shape? Let's test this, right? I've got this nifty software. I can pick this up, spin that around, and that all puzzle pieces right in. Look at that. Okay, so we got another one. And then with that in mind, hey, I can keep going, keep adding a square, right? So I could add, so let's take a look at this. Systematically here, I have to go out from this center, right? And I have to go some direction up that way. I'm restricted to this quadrant here, right? I can't have any more options of that, because whatever I do here, I have to mimic over there to create the same exact figure. Although, would going the other direction, what if I went the other way? What if I made my bump out, instead of to this side, what if I went to that side? Does that count as the same thing? They look identical, rotated, or flipped. Yes, so that would be the same thing. Okay, so that's not new. So it's number of squares compared to straight up. How many other ways can I go from this point to the side here? So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and then 4, and what if we go all the way over? Well, no, I can't go all the way over, right? If I go all the way here, I've just cut all the way across there. That's the horizontal cut. So that's the same. What else do we have? Ooh, what if I went out and then back? I go over, out, and then in. Aha, that's a fresh one. That's my 5th tally. Okay, so I believe I'm double checking the official answer here. Yes, 5 ways. Okay, so do you see that? There's straight up and down is the blue. See if I can draw them in a unique color each time here. Straight across in blue. And then over one square at the edge in red. And then we go over two squares at the edge in orange. And we'll go, green will go over one square and then back. So one square and then back. And then purple will go, now I've 1, 2, 3, 4, what was the fifth one? Did I have a fifth one? Now I've lost, see, I didn't keep track of it well enough. I'm pretty sure there were 5. Up there, up, over, all the way. Over, then up. Oh, over, up, over again. Yeah, go near, from here. We just do a complete staircase. And I believe all of those will stand unique, right? Yes. There you go. There's my 5 different cuts. Okay, so yeah, sort of a draw. Started out as a guess and test, but I was able to determine there is a way to narrow down just, hey, draw whatever anywhere. I'm like, no, there's a systematic approach to it. I need to be adding and subtracting squares off of my rectangle, right? So I could keep track of all the possible ways that way. If you want to be more organized, you could have redrawn them into a table from there. All right? How's that? All right, you are welcome. Okay, we've got 11 more minutes. Keep going. Number 4 is a good one. Like, this is a fun one. Once you know, this is a great, I call it a cocktail puzzle, because you can draw it on like a cocktail napkin. You're sitting there at the restaurant, and even if they don't bring you the placemat and crayons to play with, you can just grab your napkin and draw your little puzzle here and say like, hey, right? Parents or siblings, can you do this? I bet you can't, right? They won't be able to figure it out. It's great. So once you figure that one out, use it. Bet them, I'll bet you $5 you can't do this. Don't bet money. That'll just make them mad.